Hey there, everyone, I'm Ashley Bullington, and you're watching the fifth quarter. It's our Friday night wrap-up show. We bring you all the things that are happening around the Metroplex, and it is playoff time in Texas. Girls and boys playoffs are both underway, as girls state is just around the corner this weekend. There's also Taft State in Waco, and boys' second round of playoffs. It's a jam-packed night of basketball. And we have Inside High School Sports Insider Ryan Harris on to talk more about the playoff action. So Ryan, a huge week of playoff action in the DFW Metroplex. We're getting some girls scores in right now. What have you been seeing from those girls games tonight, though?
This week we have seen Duncanville prove the hard way that they are the number one team for the women in the state. They beat number 2 DeSoto earlier in the week, and that was a tight game throughout the whole way. DeSoto had late lead, and Duncanville came back to, I don't really want to say came back because they were only down by like 2-4 points here and there, but Duncanville won that game to advance to play earlier tonight, and they beat I believe the 4th-ranked Martin girls, and 66-49. And so they'll play tomorrow afternoon with a chance to go to the Final Four in San Antonio next weekend. But again, number one team in the state. They've beat 2 top 5 teams this week, and they have proved the hard way again that they are number one. And then we've also seen in 5A, Mansfield Timberview advance to the next round. They'll play again tomorrow afternoon with a chance to go down to San Antonio next weekend for the Final Four over in 5A.
Yeah, and then Midlothian and McKinney's girls both will be playing tomorrow as well. But on the boys' side, Duncanville had a really big week. On the boys' side, too.
Yeah, anybody over at Duncanville, that school just knows how to hoop, apparently. The Duncanville boys have been ranked number one throughout the season, even after they lost to Richardson in district. That was a really close loss. Toss-up could have gone either way, and Richardson's ranked number 6 as it is. But Duncanville has been the wire-to-wire number one team in the state of Texas the whole season. And again, it's early, much earlier in the playoffs for them than we are on the girls' side of the bracket. But they're proving that they are the number one team in the state. Last night, they beat Louisville with talented sophomore Keontae George, and they handled Louisville pretty easily in that one. So 86-73, the final. What's going to be interesting, though, is tonight Grand Prairie, number 9 Grand Prairie and Flower Mound are playing, and that's who Duncanville will take on in the next round, the winner of that game. So assuming Grand Prairie wins, they're going to have a really tough game against a really talented Grand Prairie squad. Again, number 9 in the state. They lost to number 6 recently, so we know that it is possible for them to lose a basketball game, but now there's pressure added, and you don't know how those teams are going to perform. Jalen Posey has been incredible for Grand Prairie all year. Of course, Micah Peavy's led Duncanville. I'm really excited to see that potential matchup next Tuesday.
Most definitely. And then a team that we haven't really talked too much about, but Martin looks like they'll be making it to the regional, or looks like they made it to the regional quarterfinals as well.
Yeah, they beat El Paso Americas tonight 58-40, so relatively easy game for the Martin Warriors. They've got they're led by Montreal Pena. He's a 3-star guy, good length, good athleticism, and they'll be taking on number 17 Odessa Permian, likely the winner between them and Arlington Lamar in the next round. But that, just going by rankings, should be a win for Permian tonight. But we'll see who they get in that matchup. And then after that, there's this group of 4 teams that are all playing right now that are all ranked in state. And that's who, if Martin were to beat Permian in the following round next Friday, they would get whoever comes out of this group of 4 between number 6 Richardson, and they're beating number 18 Denton Geyer by 6 late in the game. So they're likely going to beat number 18 Denton Guyer. And then number 11 Waxahachie has a pretty comfortable lead on number 24 Coppell. So it's looking like a massive matchup next Tuesday between Richardson and Waxahachie. Of course, Waxahachie was the only team to take down Grand Prairie in district play, while Richardson was the only team to beat Duncanville in district play. So those two would meet, and the winner of likely Permian and Arlington Martin will play a week from today.
Some high intense basketball right now. I'm loving it. But next week we have girls state tournament, and we're getting really close for, I think there's only 2 more weeks until we have boys state. TAPS is this weekend. But out of the entire, so let's take a look back at the season just a little bit. Out of the entire season, is there a game, or has there been a couple of games that have really stuck out to you that we were like, this was the game of the year? I'm
really tempted here to go with that Richardson game where they beat Duncanville, or even the one where they lost, because both games were really close. But you see this Duncanville team that's ranked number 1, and they're led by a senior in Micah Peavy, who's about to go to Texas Tech, one of the best basketball colleges in the nation at the moment. And Richardson was able to split with them. Both were great games, and they're led by guys that are sophomores, Rylan Griffin and Kason Wallace. So those guys are going to be good for the next, not just through the rest of this season, but for the next 2 years as well. They've got 2 guys who can go, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on Richardson over the next 2 years because of those guys. I just mentioned Louisville, who, Duncanville beat 86-73 yesterday. They've also got that talented sophomore in Keontae George. So that class is in good hands in terms of talent in the Metroplex. But, yeah, I'm really impressed. I've been really, really impressed with that Richardson team. I've also been impressed in the matchup, the Waxahachie upset over Grand Prairie, because Grand Prairie, I know, for a while they were surprised, but over the course of the season, they've just proved to themselves to be one of the best teams in the state, led by Jalen Posey. Thanks, Ryan. What great insight. Tonight is such a good night of basketball here in the DFW Metroplex. When we come back, we have the producer of Wingstop Inside High School Sports, Ward Fasold, on to talk about what will be on the show tomorrow.
Don't forget to catch our extended coverage of the high school football season each week on The Warm-Up, presented by your local North Texas Geico agents. We will get you ready for all the action this Thursday on all our social media outlets. Watch Inside High School Sports to catch this week's MVP, brought to you by GiveMeTheVin.com. These MVP athletes make it look easy, just like GiveMeTheVin.com makes it easy to sell your car. The Inside Story is driven by your North Texas Honda dealers. Right now, they can help you get great deals on award-winning Hondas. It's their job to be helpful, so stop by your local helpful Honda dealer today. Wingstop Inside High School Sports is on at 6:30 p.m. on NBC5. And we have the producer, Ward Fasold, to talk about what you'll be seeing on the show. So, Wiz, how's postseason going? What games did you go to tonight? How's the scene, since I don't get to go out and see it anymore?
You don't get to go out, man. You should have seen the line for this Richardson Guyer game I went to. Now, granted, a lot of it has to do with the fact they wouldn't open the doors till 6:30 for a 7 o'clock game. But the line it's an opening shot of the highlights. It was ridiculous. It was about 150 deep as far as trying to get into that tip. And it was worth the while, man. I was there for the first half, and I can't even tell you how many great highlights I got. I have to cut them down. Jacoby Coles was unreal. Tyler McGee was unreal. And then both the sophomores, Kason Wallace and Raylan Griffin. Griffin had 2 thunderous dunks right in front of me. Richardson ended up sneaking that one out. They pulled away late in the fourth, but that game was back and forth. It was just a tremendous game, tremendous atmosphere. Richardson wins, and they will go on to play Waxahachie, who beat Coppell. And then also in Region 1, Duncanville beat Louisville on Thursday. And tonight, Grand Prairie had all kinds of trouble with Flower Mound, but they ended up pulling away in that one. So they will play Duncanville. And if there's a God out there, please make the Richardson, Waxahachie, Duncanville, Grand Prairie game a doubleheader somewhere. I swear it will sell out anything. please just make that happen. Don't make it at two different venues because people deserve to see both of those games. It was just incredible. And I'm going to give a shout out to the Arlington schools. You know, Arlington, Martin, and Bowie both got through their West Texas drive. They had to go out to Midland to play their opponents from West Texas, and Martin is going on to, I know Ryan talked about it a little bit, but Martin's going on to play, playing Friendship because they beat Haltom, and then Bowie's going on to play Permian, which that's actually going to be a tough game. I think Bowie's probably going to bow out there, but a great season for Lamar. They ended up losing to Permian, but the other two Arlington schools that made the playoffs are making deep runs. And let's talk a little bit about girls' regional finals, too, tomorrow. There's going to be some great games. Either Duncanville or Cedar Hills going to state. It's probably going to be Duncanville. I don't want to be a spoiler, but that's probably what's going to happen. McKinney is making one heck of a run in Region 2, and they face Plano tomorrow. The winner of that game goes to state, also in 6A. McKinney is really shocking a lot of people in girls basketball because I don't even think they finished in the top two in their district, and now here they are just a game away from winning. In Plano, they've played this whole season without Jordan Merritt, and they've done nothing short of spectacular, and they're a game away from going to state. And then in 5A, Timberview is going to be playing Amarillo. Amarillo is a tough team, but Timberview is battle-tested. And then in Region 2, it's Midlothian versus Frisco Liberty. Everybody thought that one was going to be Red Oaks district, but Liberty beat them tonight, and they're now, or Red Oaks region, excuse me. Liberty beat them tonight. Now they're playing Midlothian for a chance at state. You got Argyle, who, God bless it, they don't ever lose, do they, Ashley?
Definitely not. I think they're going for 9 this year, aren't they?
Yeah, 9 total and 6 straight. They had 5 straight, and everybody thought it was a down year, but they upset number 1 Canyon. And Riley McKinney scored 33 points. She's incredible. They only scored 41, and she scored 33 of them. They'll play Bridgeport tomorrow. Winner goes to state. And Dallas Lincoln's going to play Melissa tomorrow. Winner of that game goes to state, too. That's Region 2 of 4A. And before I pass it back to you, one major upset on our side of the boys bracket is Allen, they were a top 10 ranked team. They got upset by Waco Midway tonight. And so they will not be going to state, and everybody thought they were kind of a shoo-in with the region they were playing through. But no, that's not the case. Waco Midway beat them. They'll be playing Wiley next week, and Mesquite Horn has got a game with McKinney next week. So actually, they beat McKinney, and they're advancing to the next round. So it's been kind of crazy over in Region 2. I don't know who's going to come out of there now.
So what will be coming up tomorrow on Wingstop Inside High School Sports, Wizzy? Tomorrow we got a ton of highlights, as we normally do, including those crazy dunks I just told you about by Richardson. And we got one from Capel that he almost climbed the ladder on a guy and dunked on him. We're going to give you some TAPS finals. Plano Prestonwood ended up losing, but Fort Worth Southwest Christian won they won a state title in 5A. And we're going to have a boys 4A state final. Colleyville Covenant's going to try to beat the Woodlands Christian. And so we'll have highlights of that game. We will have a flashback to the greatest girls basketball player we've had in the past 25 years. That'd be Tamika Catchings, who's actually going to the Hall of Fame this year. She played at Duncanville. We'll have a little look back at her deal. And then we have a great story to close out Black History Month. Paul Graham, from the head coach at Skyline, he talked to his kids about the kind of stuff he went through growing up in Kansas City back in the 60s and 70s, and how he was denied a couple coaching jobs just because of the color of skin, and letting his kids know what, to look out for that kind of stuff. And then they went across the street to the library and helped some little kids with their vision board, helping them hit their dreams. It was a really good story. We'll run that tomorrow. And then, of course, we got Jalen Posey coming in, showstopper of the year. I'm glad they beat Flower Mound, or he would have been in a real bad mood, don't you think? Definitely, most definitely.
But that's what we got, and I cannot wait for next week. Hopefully we get that doubleheader in there.
It's going to be a jam-packed episode of Wingstop Inside High School Sports. Ward, thank you, and I can't wait to see it. Once again, Wingstop Inside High School Sports is on at 6:30 p.m. on NBC5 Saturday, tomorrow. So you don't want to miss it. Until then, I'm Ashley Bollington, and thank you so much for watching the 5th Quarter.